I'm Lyle from Made by Marley. I am usually a furniture artist, but this week I am going to show you 6 things you can make from Made by Marley paper, decoupage paper for Christmas. Okay, so the first project I'm going to do involves toilet roll tubes. They're pretty easy to find. So you need 8 for this one. So what you do is you fold them flat like this. Now you can add more if you want and make it bigger, but we're just going to do a simple one which involves 8. Fold them all flat. Then you're going to need your Made by Marley decoupage paper. I'm trying not to get Martin to look at me straight in the face because when I've got my glasses on, my eyes go like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some Mod Podge. Now I've still got some in the bottom of here, so let's use this up first. And you're going to smear your tubes with your glue. This is not complicated, by the way. This is super simple but really effective. I was actually surprised. I normally shy away from these kind of things, but when I actually made some, I was like, oh, these are lovely. So you give it a good coating. Remember your edges. Ooh. And then what you need to do is flip over your Made by Marley paper and sit it down and literally fold over the white edge. You'll notice I've started away from the border on the other side and twirl it around. Now you can cut your paper to size, which would probably have been a lot easier for me, but I'm just going to snip these with some scissors now. Giving myself a little bit of an overhang. I'm going to cut off the top as well, just right to the edge, so you have to kind of judge that like that. Put it back down, get your glue, put your glue on here like this, making sure you've got it all glued. Flap that over, and that's the first thing you're going to do, and you're going to do this with all 8. Yeah, so I'm going to go away and I'm going to do this with all of my 8 tubes, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've covered all my tubes, and now I've got chalk paint, and you want a chalk paint, I think, that coordinates with your paper. So I'm using Annie Sloan's Arrows. Here's the tin. That's what it looks like. It's not in a squeezy bottle, so I'm just using the lid. And all you need to do is paint slightly down, not too far. I mean, you don't need to go for all the way down inside it. And there are probably some of you at home going, well, you maybe should have done that first. But if you're aware of my style, you know I like to live life on the edge, so I'm not really bothered. Now, I think it's because I did my last ones this way and I just kind of felt my way through the project. Okay, so that's got to be like that. It doesn't matter if a little bit touches up on the edge. Now, I'm just going to sit this one here on here for a minute just to try and dry off. Maybe not. I'll
on the arm of the chair over there.
That's what I'll do. It's just because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the rest. Oh, it's technical here. Now, I did a little thing. I just got a bit of paper with sort of width of my toilet roll, and I just cut out a point with these 2 being lower. Now, they're not perfect, but I'm not about that life. I'm about having the fun of it all. So if you want them perfect, feel free to measure them. Now, if you're completely new to my channel and if you've never seen me before, I'm actually a furniture artist. I don't normally do a huge amount of crafts, but at Christmas time I generally do. So I own my own decoupage company. So it's called Made by Marley Decoupage Magic. And all the paper I'm using today is our paper. So just so you know that, you can catch us on our website, which is, Martin will be put a link up here or down below. Down below. Right, okay, so I'm just going to sit my wee sort of, and this is how technically I'm going to do it, to be honest with you. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to hold it and I'm just going to cut it. So, because again, we've already established, if you're new to my channel, that this is how I like to live. Now, it has to, you need to cut it the paint side. Don't cut it the side that you haven't painted. That's going to be no good to you at all. Just make sure you get down in here. And what you're going to do is you're going to do this for all of your shapes, all of your little triangles. And when I go off camera, I'm just going to freestyle these, to be honest with you, but I'm just showing you the right way. You know, there is a kind of process here and here. right? So once you've got something like this, oh, I just want to sharpen up my point. Sometimes with the decoupage paper at the top can look a wee bit flat, but you want it kind of pointy because it is going to be a star. So now you've got here, what you're going to do is you don't need a huge amount of paint on your brush, so just get something to offload your paint onto. So I'm just going to use this sponge, and I can probably use this sponge later on in this project. So, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to just give your edges a little bit of a zhuzh like that. Bring your brush in, just zhuzh them up, and do that to all of them. Yeah, like that. A wee bit of a zhuzh. Now you're going to do this to all of them, and I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a minute. So we've got all our pieces now, and what I'm going to do just to make it fancy is I've got a hole punch, and I'm just going to I can never get this out of here. I don't know what it is about me. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to do a wee hole on either side of the center one, which is the slightly higher up one. Next, you are going to need, once you've done your, you don't have to put a hole in it. You could put trim on it. You could do whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. I'm going to show you in a minute once I've just punched these. This is a little bit like watching paint dry. Sorry, I'm trying to punch as quick as I can. I think putting the sort of little bit of distress around the edges finishes them nicely as well. So you could put trim around there. You could put coloured thread, macrame, string, nothing that hangs, because I looked at one that I made and I was going to try and hang bells on it, but obviously because they hang nice at the bottom but they don't hang nice at the top, so you can make them bougie but not that bougie. You can hang things from a string from the bottom, like bells and rusty bells, or I mean, you can really bougie these up, and I was actually surprised how substantial they actually look and how nice they look, because I've seen people do things like this and I thought, oh, I don't know, but I'm just going to quickly show you. This is a bigger one that I've done, but I need to do the other half, and I'll finish this one before the video. This one's got boho tile paper on it, and this was made from leftovers that I had, so it's a little bit itty-bitty, and I put gold on here, and I painted the inside furrow. So that's what this one, and if you want to go big or go home, I made this one with Redesign by Prima Tubes and all my leftover bits of decoupage, and I just stuck them all together. This was harder to do. In fact, I've got can you see that blister there? That was me cutting the tubes. You really need to give it a little bit of welly to cut them and bend them, but I hammered them with a hammer to get them to go like this, and then I just painted the inside with fleurons. Put this now, because this is so big, this is a really substantial one. I put a piece of card with some paper on the back just so that it can be hung up, but you could hang strings and everything. So, and this is so substantial and nice. And this one here, that this is the bigger one, because you can put as many toilet roll tubes as you want into it. I thought what I might do is put gloss on this, and because it's got the wee holes, you can hang it up on your wall. So that's that one. But as I said, we'll see that finished at the end of the video. So that's those. So this is what we're actually doing. Now you're going to need a hot glue gun. You're probably going to need a hot glue gun for a lot of things that I'm doing today. Now you want to be doing a T shape. So imagine a T. So you're going across this way and up that way. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to glue them all together. Oh, this toilet roll is shorter than this one. Must be different brands. Again, T-shape. That one's a bigger one again. I watched people do things like this and I thought, my toilet rolls are tiny, but maybe it's UK toilet rolls. Maybe in other places the toilet rolls are more substantial. You could use kitchen roll tubes.
Maybe.
Well, I did. I thought, oh, mine are very small compared to that. So what you do is you just build up your little tower, doing your T-shape at the bottom and at the top. Oh, try not to let it slide like I've just done. Keep them all.
Maybe that is one of those things.
Well, it maybe is.
Bigger toilet rolls.
Well, I thought, how come my toilet rolls are so piddly small? But it wasn't somebody from the UK that was doing this, and they just did it with the cardboard tube. They didn't cover them, but obviously I have to make everything more complicated, and I thought that would be much more bougie and nice if I did it this way. Just my thoughts. Put this like this, and this is my last one, and again it's a small one. See, you can see it's different size. Now, just make sure your glue is just, I would hold on to it for a minute because it's still quite warm in my hands. Okay, I stopped the camera to go and get a clamp. I also added an extra one in, and this is what I was saying. I don't think UK toilet rolls are the same size as... Oh, Martin's doing the 2 at me. I added 2 extra in, so I now have 10. So at the very beginning, you don't need 8. You need 10 if you're in the UK. If you're anywhere else, I think you might...
Depending on the size of your...
Depending on the size of your toilet rolls. I mean, they're quite... I was also thinking about harvesting said toilet rolls. You could ask neighbours and friends, because I'm literally going round the house all the time looking at all the bathrooms to see what the toilet roll situation is so I can whip it away. And the thing is, my kids never put them in the bin anyway, so I can find them.
And you've already told Jamie to start collecting them as well.
Because I'm going to do so more of these. I thought I'd do a whole wall of them for Christmas. Anyway, so this is how it looks. Now, what I'm going to do is, because I want mine to look vintagey, is I'm just going to gently sand my paper. You can do that with Made by Valley paper. You can age it, so just so my edges are kind of faded and distressed looking, so it looks a bit old. Now is the moment of truth. Now, if there's any bits that pull away, we can paint those in. But what you need to do now is you need to gently put your finger down the middle and just squeeze from the top. Squeeze to the top. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. I think I don't need to repeat squeeze again. See, can you see that? There's little bits there. Those are the little bits that we can touch up with a little bit of paint. It's just where the glue is pulled off. You never see people covering their toilet rolls, so it doesn't seem to matter to them. Now, what you need to do now is finish with a little bit of glue across this edge. And I'll just, for good measure, put a little bit on that side. And twirl this round and stick it down. Now, if you're not happy with your centre, you can put something on the centre. I've actually got some little natural stars. I'm just going to hold this a minute. Maybe my broken clothes peg might work this time round. Just put it together like that for a minute. I'm just going to jump over here and get one of these stars, like my little craft thing, because I think it might finish it quite nicely. I always buy these things, but I'm never sure what to do with them. Sorry, this is so professional, as per usual. Oh, it's kind of like, you can see where it's pulling me. I'm going to let that go now so that it can... Now, I've got one of these, which I thought...
Excuse me, sniffing.
I might just paint just a little bit, just to kind of make it look it's half painted. Stick this on here if you don't like your centre. Oh, that's because I'm doing it wet as per usual. Should just take my time. Now I just want to sort out any bits that I can see that I think, now I'm going to have to put a heat gun on this in a minute, but just let my wee star dry. So I think there's only kind of one area and a little bit there that's pulled away with the paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the same paint that I used to do the inside and just put a little dab on there. Anywhere else, would I think? Because I really don't think anybody's going to be coming back and going, there now. I think I could do with a wee bit more of a sort of sand around here, just to vintage it off a little bit more. I need to get all my glue gun strands, but that is the sort of basis for the Made by Marley Christmas stars. This is the sort of basic-y one. This is the one that takes so many toilet roll tubes, and obviously any big tubes you have, you can make these. You could cut your toilet rolls in half and make them much shorter stars if you wanted to make smaller ones. And I think once it's got to this stage, it's just a matter of kind of manipulating it into a sort of shape that you like. That's what I've been kind of doing with everything else. So that's that.
Come back to that in a minute.
Yeah. On to the next thing. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to make some little festive Christmas lampshades for these fairy lights. Now, these are not the ones that the bulbs come out of, so that made me have to do a little bit of mental gymnastics. These, believe it or not, are the lids off the tubes from the Redesign by Prima But you can use paper cups. I just didn't have anything like that, so I had to do my own sort of think about it. And I thought, well, I don't want to bin all this plastic, and I thought, what could I do with it? And then I thought, oh, I can make little lampshades. I should do. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cross in the bottom of this like this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little square, because this is what I felt worked, because I've already done one and I thought, right, okay, this is the best way to go about it. So I've got my sort of, I'll just widen up my cross a little bit because it's got to fit over my big bulb. Isn't that always the way? Right, okay, so you can understand I've got a cross so that I can go like this, and I want to actually have it this way when I do it. My bulb will fit onto here like this, right? That, so we understand that concept. If it's paper cups, just I would actually use fairy lights that the bulbs just pull out of. That's much easier, and use paper cups. But if you haven't got that, then, and you have got loads of these that you're saving, like me, if you've got them, use them. We use the plastic, it's always good. Right, so I'm going to do that with all of these, but first I'm using Old Time Christmas made by Marley decoupage paper, so I've got that there. Don't think I've got all the sheets, I've just got a couple sitting there, and I've got some card. This is card that, you know, inside school shirts. My kids haven't worn school shirts for absolute years, so that shows you how long I keep things. But anyway, there we go.
Is that genuinely where that's from?
Yeah. It is. So I happen to have this card that was came
Just
out
happened to have it.
in the
lying
school
around.
sharks, because I went to the cupboard to get cereal boxes, but yesterday the cereal was all replenished and Martin binned the boxes. Now if it had been me, I wouldn't have bothered. It was just flinging new stuff in, but Martin tidied it up. So but this just happens to be the right circumference for here. So I need 12 of these, because I've got 12 lights, but depending on how many lights you have, you need to have 12 or 10 cups or whatever you're doing. And if you're using these in different lights, you have to kind of do that little bit, but that's the only bit you have to do. So what I did was I've done 2.5. Is this ruler inches or centimeters?
That'll be 2.5 inches.
Yeah, 2.5 inches that I did for my shade, for my lights. And I just need 12 of these. Now, these are not all incredibly straight. Martin was talking to me at the time, so that put me off.
I see, my fault.
Well, you were asking me about weights and stuff and baubles and things, and my brain can't do two things at once, right? So you understand the joke.
Your brain does 40 things at once.
Yeah. So I've got these strips. You're going to need 12 of these, and I'm going to just pick out nice parts of my Christmas paper, likey so. It doesn't matter if you're cutting into another part. I don't think it'll matter. You can use any of our sort of more bohemian paper if you wanted to do this and not make them Christmassy. I just thought I would do these, and I thought Daisy would probably like them in her bedroom. That's my thought on that. Or Pops, but any of the girls. Or maybe I'll just keep them for myself and put them in my studio, which seems to be now a dumping ground for me, hanging things from the ceiling that I've always wanted.
Yeah.
For those that have been asking
above
me,
my head right now, there are all sorts of new things hanging down that weren't here the other day, and I was like, can I move some of these, because I need to stand there.
it's my trinkets. Can I say, for those, I've had an awful lot of questions about the new studio and asking for a video of how it actually looks, and I know that the channel members got to see it. It wasn't quite finished then, but I will do something like that for you. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get your card. Trying to think what I want the sort of mine's has got the shiny side and not the matte side. The matte side I want inside, because I'm going to be painting that, and I'm going to be gluing this onto here like so with some Mod Podge. So just, you know, as you always do, you have to cover all the areas. And you don't need to get me some more Mod Podge. You got me Mod Podge last week.
Look at
that. So yeah, you've already done that. So that's how you glue that, like that. And don't worry if it looks a little bit mishmashed right now. It'll all come together when we actually put it together. put it down, make sure it's not moving around the way I've got it doing, and just completely smooth it out like that. It should be absolutely fine. Any excess, you can either wait till it dries or sand it, or you can just do what I'm doing right now and cut all the little parts that are not perfect off, like so, right? Okay, so that's this. Now I'm going to paint the inside. You're going to love my palette today. I still haven't done a paint order. For those that are on the channel membership, that won't be surprising them, because I'm always saying I need to do my paint order, and I've been trying to say it for the last how many weeks and I still haven't done it. It's because I don't like doing it, so I keep putting it off. And a little touch of brown, because I don't want it too reddy red. I want it sort of a bougie red, if you know what I mean. Then what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to try not to get this all over my lovely table, I will be putting a tablecloth down as I get further into these projects, because there's a lot that of them involves paint, and I don't want my tablecloth looking, my
Don't
tabletop.
want to ruin your table.
No, that's what I'm trying to say, Mark. I'm glad you jumped in there, because I didn't know where I was going. Now, you are going to do this and make however many, if you're using tops of designed by Prima things, you're going to do this for however many times for your lights that match the tops, yeah? So that is my outside and my inside, and I'm going to repeat this 12 times with just mismatched pieces, you know, like parts of the Santa, part of the birds. I'm going to do that next. I am going to run my paint around this little edge here just to finish it off. You have to think about the nice things, the wee parts that make a difference, right? I'm going to put that to the side and let it dry, and then what I'm going to do is, I think I am going to leave my tops black, because there's quite a lot of black in my paper. But obviously if you're using something like this, you might want to use gold, or if you're using the boho tile, you might want to use pink. It depends on what paper you're using, but as I said, mine's festive, and I'm just going to keep mine black. Right, okay, so I'll get on and do my 12 strips, then we'll put our lanterns together. And I've got some of this pom-pom trim. Pom-pom.
Of course you have.
Festive pom-pom trim, yeah. I felt like I was kind of duped on this, because I bought it and I thought it was all, but I think it was, I bought it in TK Maxx. It was maybe a second, so some of it's kind of dyed and some of it isn't, but we'll see what we can do with that anyway. Right, back in a minute. Okay, so once you've covered all your strips in paper, I just quickly ran a Christmas stencil just in the inside at the bottom. I don't know why, I just thought it would finish them off nicely. So then what I did was I just kind of manipulated the card so that it bends nice into a circle, and I'm just running a little bead of hot glue along here and holding it closed for a couple of minutes. I do have these things. Before anybody comments, I'll just use that to wrap it. Right, I'm snorting. Once you've done that, you need to get your lid that you've cut your X with your little square in it and stick it on. It's just slightly shy of it. So what I've done is I'm just doing a couple of beads of glue around this edge. You can pull them tighter if you want. But... So when you've got them all done, they'll look like this. Now, when I applied the decoupage paper, I just sat my templates down and cut, because it's all Christmassy paper, so they're all completely different. They've all got that sort of vintagey look. So once they're like this, you can cover them in Mod Podge High Gloss if you want. I'm not going to bother, because I quite like them matte and they're not going to get wet. And then I'm just going to pick, I've got red, I've got green, and I've got white pom-poms. So I'm just going to pick whichever ones sort of coordinate nicely. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my hot glue and I'm going to glue my pom-poms round the bottom of each one of my little lampshades like this. Don't need a lot of hot glue. Try and get it straight if you can. And then once this is done and I've done all of the rest, we'll come back and we'll fit them all on top of our little lights. And I'm just going to cut this here with my scissors and just glue that little edge onto here. Oh, I went and done my See what I've done? We're not talking about that. This edge should be the bottom. Mix this up in there. You know what I'm talking about. So you're going to make lots of these little lampshades. And as I said, I'm keeping mine black because there's a lot of different parts of my paper that has black, which I think will work. But if you're using any of our Bohemian papers, I would paint the tops or gold leaf them even. It would be even nicer. So I'm just going to go on, make all of my little lampshades and give them a little whirl over with my heat tool to get rid of all the glue strands. And then we'll be moving on to fitting them. Okay, so once you've got this far, if you have used a paper cup and you've put a hole in the top of your paper cup and you've decoupaged them and you've got your trim on, you can, and you've got different lights to me, you can remove your bulb, pop it on the top and fit your bulb back in. But because these were from IKEA, they don't come out. So because I've had to do it this way, so I'm just going to push my lights through the top of my little shade like that. Okay, and this is how they all look, but I'll do a proper sort of staging picture of them all lit up. So that's my little shades. Now I think this would look really cool if they were Bohemian, but obviously it's Christmas time, so I was doing a Christmas one. Okay, on to the next thing. Okay, so I know I always do them, I mean, but it's just that I can't help it. The next thing is going to be a vintage suitcase. And last year, the one that I made with the Santa on it was so popular. So, and actually it's available on our website because I didn't actually sell it. It was
We forgot.
It was on social media. I did lots of things last year, and I went away and did a Christmas market, and I forgot to take. I don't know, didn't do it. So what have I got here? I've got one of these chocolate molds. I'm only going to be using the center ones because these sit nice and flat, and it's just some cute things to go with my paper because I'm going to be using the snowman from
Yuletide.
Yuletide. Well done, Martin. Martin knows the names better than I sometimes. So I've got 2 Yuletide snowmen.
Yuletide.
And you can also...
It might not be Yuletide. Sorry.
No, it is Yuletide.
Okay.
It is Yuletide.
It is.
It's
correct.
the one with
yes.
the dog.
Yep, it is. Yeah.
Right, okay, so and you can get Yuletide on our website. So I need a little bit of resin because I'm just going to do some of these, but when it's a chocolate mold, I want them really thin. I don't want them really thick because I don't want them sticking too far out of the suitcases because they're more apt to pull off. So I'm going to pour them quite low. So I've got my little scales here and I've got my resin. What's my resin called, Martin?
SG2000.
SG2000.
Yep.
It's
Type that into Google and that's what you'll find.
It's much more reasonable than Amazing Casting Resin, and I can't see much difference. Sometimes it's a little bit brittle, but apart from that, I don't need much of this. So I'm probably going to do. Let's just see. Oh, so I need to get to 42. I can never quite do this right. That's why I have a box with all the things that I have to cast. There we go. Oh, see, 43, but it was 42. Something to stir it with. I'm just going to use the end of a paintbrush. Just wipe the end of your paintbrush once you've done it. There is something floating in this. I don't know what it is, but pick it out. It's not like clear resin where you have to... oh, it's floated back in again. That's my tablet time. Martin's an arm. It's not like the clear 24-hour resin where you have to stir it and stir it and stir it. So I'm just going to pour a little bit into the bottom of each one of these little chocolate molds, plus that little thing that was floating around. I don't know what it is. I might have to go quite up far on the trees to get the stocking. So I want a couple of gingerbread men. And I'm gonna, a couple of trees. I want obviously a snowman. And I'll do this star. And you know what, I'm just gonna do the snowman as well. I know that Martin was thinking that maybe they wouldn't pour very nice, and I'll do this other tree. Right, okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna pretty much leave those alone until they set. So while they're setting, I'm just going to set up for the next part. Okay, I've got my suitcase, and what I'm doing now is I'm just taking, I don't want the snowflakes as at the moment, so I'm just going to take those off, but I will keep those for something else, I think. So let's just take those like that, and I just want to get rid of this down the bottom. Now, he's going to have a little bit of his hat this way and a little bit that way. I've got Mod Podge, here we are, and I've got another snowman for the other side as well, so I'm going to apply my glue to the case as opposed to the paper, but you can do either. Oh, it's a good job that wasn't a full one. So let's just go through again on application of Made by Marley paper. So if you put too much glue on it in big ridges like this here, that will give you wrinkles. If you don't apply glue to all your surface, that will give you wrinkles. So once you've just got it on and you're happy with it, smooth it out like that, and then pop them down, smooth them out like this. And I normally use a soft cloth, but this isn't a full. And then once you've got no wrinkles on it and you can see there's none, you just leave it alone. Don't keep touching it, just leave it alone. So I'm going to go away, do the other side, and then we'll come back and we'll start blending the paint onto this. Okay, so I've got a few different blues here. I've got Giverny and I've got Greek blue. I don't know why I've got two lots of old ochre, but I do. And I've got some Hornflower, which is brown. I'm just going to start blending this. So let's start with the sort of darker browns, blues even, round the edges. Right, okay. And then this blue, pop some of that. Now I'm going to go in with the cream and let's start blending this the way we want it. I'm trying to get rid of that snowflake. I'll come back and put that white in a minute. Plenty of cream. And because I want to darken the edges, I can still bring my cream into it and it'll still be darker up around the edges. There is nothing wrong with leaving a little bits of brown showing through this one because it'll look quite good, I think. Now, I want to add this and this together just for more of a round about these edges here. Now, I'm going to dip my brush just a little bit in the brown and I'm going to age off my edges. If I've got too much on my brush, I'll just do this first. And then just around there like that. Now, same here. That just kind of gives it a little bit of a sort of rustic vintagey kind of feel. I'm going to come back and paint him in cream there. But apart from that, that's what you're going to do on both sides. I'm not overthinking it too much. We are going to put a wee bit more white on this when it's dry. Okay, so I'm going to put some stamps on this. I'm not going to make you watch me do it all, namely because I always make a royal mess of this. So to prevent you seeing me make a royal mess of it, I'll only do some of it. So it's going to be based on a sort of take on all the things that Frosty the Snowman has. So it's Mr. Frosty's mercantile and he's going to be selling. I want these all at different heights. He's going to be selling carrots, buttons, clay pipes and scarves. So I would have done hats, but I can't find my H right now. Just being honest, transparent. Oh, hang on. That really could have done. Try bashing it. Now, you should never go back over them. It's just a no-no because you'll end up ghosting, but, well, I think we've already established that I'm not bothered about that. Mr. and then Frosty. I want that to go that way. Now we need to pinch our R back because our R was on Mr, but we need it in a minute. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence. You all know how to stamp. If you've never stamped anything before, these are IOD stamps. They're really old IOD stamps. I don't even know what this set's called. It might be called typeset, but I am unclear. It's got these capitals and it's got the small case, which are these ones here in the pack. And I'm using StazOn ink because I prefer it. I need my O. Where did my O go? Did it fall off? Oh, it's here. See, they're kind of worse for wear now. They're a little bit bent, but they do the job. I keep thinking I'll get more because I do things with typography on them. So I'm going to get on and type Mr. Frosty's Mercantile on this. I'll probably just do the words as well. You're not seeing anything different with every letter I stamp. And so far, so good. It's not gone wrong, which is always good. I'll chance it and do the S. This is where it'll all go horribly wrong. Normally, it's how I've laid it out. But I'm just going to get on and do that now. You get the gist. And then we'll get on to the next part of the case. I'm only doing this on the front of the case. I'm not doing it on the other side. Okay? So I've got my words on, and now we're going to gussy this up a bit. So I've taken my moulds out of the chocolate, and what I've done is I've got a piece of sandpaper and I've sanded the backs so that they're smooth for when I glue them on. Now, given the sort of general aesthetic, I want these to be rusty looking. So I'm going to start by using a brush that looks like this. I'm not, yeah. So it's kind of, it's not ruined. This is the kind of, it's just that this is the kind of brush it is. And so I keep them for things like that. So kind of start with this sort of darky, sort of browny, blacky kind of colour, and we'll put the orange on in a minute. Now I do have a little bit of salt wash, funnily enough, not clay because I couldn't find the clay. I'm still trying to desperately find things from the move, so I'll just dip a wee bit of this in this as well, just to give it a little bit of crusty texture. Let's do the next one. So I'm putting my brush so that it goes in the brown and the black at the same time when I go to adhere the paint, so that it has a little bit of everything. Now this is not a clean job, but
somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. I just think this will go with the aesthetic. You know, I don't want to start putting like sort of colours on it. It doesn't go with the case. I mean, obviously you can do whatever you like, and that's encouraged. Right, 2 more to go. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put the orange on them. I just dry it up a little bit with the salt wash. Salt wash just instantly thickens it all up. Just make sure you get all your little edges. You don't want any white bits showing on your gingerbread men. Right, and last gingerbread man and salt wash. I'm dipping my paintbrush into the salt wash because I've actually only got a tiny little bit, so and I probably won't buy it again because I just feel clay is just as good, but salt wash it is for today. Right, a bit more texture on this. Just make sure it's got plenty of crusty texture. Same with this one. Same with this one. Same with this one. And this one and this one. Now I'm dipping in the orange. Now, because my brush is a bit like this is a good way to kind of put your rusty, crusty texture on. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of pat on here first, and then just kind of see if I can just make them look a little bit rusty. I'm just doing this because we can go over the top of them. Oh, I went a bit crazy there. Maybe not as much as that. But you get the general gist. Some parts are more rusty than others, so and we can come back and still put more texture onto that if we want. And the reason why I picked rust was because there's a lot of brown in the snowman and he's got an orange nose. That's just how my brain would work. So I thought, what can I do with these sort of, well, it doesn't really look like a snowman now, he's a bit crusty, but okay. We all know it was a snowman. Right, okay. I'm going to let those dry off, okay? And while they're drying, I'm going to get on with it. I'll set up again, turn my case round because I've got a couple of stamps that I want to put on, and also I'm going to seal this with pearlescent glaze, Sani Sloan's pearlescent glaze, because it's a snowman case. It'll give it all a nice wee shimmer. So I've never actually used it, so that's a good thing, isn't it? In fact, I couldn't find it now, but can you see how they actually look like they're rusty? Can you see the actual texture? Yeah. I think that's the good thing about like textured finishes and sort of full rust. You can really get it looking quite genuine. Right, okay, that's enough of that. Okay, let's set up for the next part. Okay, I want to put something on his scarf here. So I've got, I think this stamp here, although I'm not 100% sure, is from Fruitful Harvest. I think. And the other one, the other little holly leaf that I've found in my stamps, I have no idea. They're all IOD stamps, but whether they're still available or not, I'm not sure. But any sort of holly sort of kind of malarkey will do. Here it is. Not sure what this one's from. So I'm just gonna put that there. Cat doesn't really show up on the brown, but it will in a minute. And what I thought I'd do is I want 3 berries, but I'm just going to use these 3 bells from this one here, which is from it's an old one, an old stamp. It's the one with Santa on it, I think. And if I put this over there like that, when I stamp over it, it'll look like berries. Right, okay. I've got snowflakes, which I'm going to paint that in a minute, or I'm going to probably just use Poscas to do it because it'll be quick. Now, I've got a mini roller. I need some white on the palette, like that, and offload my paint. So, got this. Now again, this is definitely from this stamp here. It's the one with the big Santa on it. It's an old one, isn't it? It's an old one, yeah. But any of the new stamps will do. And there is an actual snowflake stamp. This is just one I had. I didn't see the point in getting a snowflake stamp because I've really got it. And for the amount of times I'll use it, it's not really something I would use a lot. And what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to do some snowflakes. Now, there was a smaller one in this set, but it must have gone into one of the other bins. I've probably used it for something that maybe it wasn't maybe for what it was for, but and I'm just going to kind of artistically put some snowflakes on it. And obviously, because there's no writing on the back, I'm going to load it up with lots of nice snowflakes on the back there. I think maybe I could probably do one. Always roll on a smooth surface. Maybe come in here and onto the side. Don't know if you can hear that, but that was a pheasant in our garden going bananas. They do that there, and I don't want a lot of them, and I don't actually have a huge amount of room. It's annoying that I can't find the one that's actually more the size I'm looking for.
I'll have a look in the other trays in a second.
Yeah, because maybe this one here. Now, I am going to get some Poscas. and be back in a minute. And I'm just gonna post a paint in these ivy, these th- those those leaves. What are they called? Look,
Holly?
ah, yeah,
Yeah.
holly.
It is, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
holly and bells,
Berries.
berries. Oh, right, okay, right. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've got the same the leaves, and I'm just going to stamp them with the cream this time. I coloured them in with orange and red Poscas just for speed. I mean, you can paint them in beautifully, unlike me. Now, stamp that back on the top of there. Fabulous. And just make sure there's not much ink on that. And pop that. Put that on there like that. Like that. And the little berries, I just want to do these two. Actually, do you know what I'll do all of them? I'll just live on the edge. There, I'll just give that a wee bit of a lift and a highlight. Right, now I couldn't find, Martin went to check, I couldn't find anything that was going to be appropriate for to do snowflakes, so I've just taped off one of these little ones on it that I've got in this stencil here. And I'm just going to do random little ones in between everything, just to, I mean, why not? I think you can make these things as easy and as complicated as you like. If I'm honest, this is the easy version. I could have spent a long time, but I've got way more things to show you, so I better just crack on. There. I think that's probably enough of those. Yeah, I don't think it needs any more than that. Maybe one in this little gap here. Now, the last thing I have to do before I can seal this is just get my little rusty, sorry, did I just go underneath the camera?
That was my fault for going over there, you know.
I'm making your job easy. So I just thought I'd pop some of these on for a bit of fun. I'm just going to put my glue on my mat. And not my mat, it's actually a plastic bag, but they're really good for doing the rusty crusty stuff on, because then you can just fold them up and use them again as pallets. So, I've went and put a
Doesn't matter.
snowflake in there. Now, this is the glue that dries clear, so we're good to go. You must remember and sand these, because if not, they won't lie flat on your suitcase, and you don't want these coming back off, especially if a customer buys them. Right to the very edges.
That is good glue though.
It is.
They don't tend to come off.
But just in cases, I think I'll put that little gingerbread man there because I can. Now, need some more glue. I'm probably over gluing them, but I'm always concerned about the mold situation. That's quite a lot of glue. What else? Maybe here. The Christmas tree. And last, where could I put this one? Maybe there's not any room for him. I don't think there is. No, I really don't think there is any room. Unless I cover up that little snowflake there and pop him there. I'm trying to avoid going too close to the edge, because that's when it starts to curve down and there'll be a lip that can be caught. Right, okay, I am going to go along. And I'm going to put these little snowflakes and these big snowflakes on the backs and the sides and the top. I am then going to cover it with this pearlescent glaze from Annie Sloan. And tomorrow morning we shall finish it off with a little bit of glitter.
Ooh.
Glitter, because that's the only time we use. It's really accessible. I'm just wanting to get a little bit of a brush and just clean up the sides of my molds, because I don't want all that. Because even though it dries clear, you don't want a big lump of plasticky glue showing. So that's this one done, and we'll finish it off tomorrow morning when it's dry. I'm going to move on to a sign next, and I'm going to be putting molds on it. So we're not going to get very far with this one. We're just going to put the molds on, and then I'm going to take it into my house so they dry for tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to make a sign. This was the bottom of a cot. It had legs. Martin's cut the legs off, and it's left me a nice frame to decorate. I'm going to be using the Santa from the Better Not Pout. I'm just going to set him to the side. I'm going to be applying molds. It's the Bibelot mold from IOD, and I cast this one, and this one. And I've got like my corners. Why I visit like this? Because there was screw holes, you know, where the cot went together. So my positioning had to be quite clever. But I think if I do this, it'll make them look like they're all strung up at the end, hopefully. Hopefully, this one here is going to kind of slightly bend around the edge. I'm going to get on and use my No Nails glue to glue these on. Then I'm going to take this into the house overnight, and we'll be back tomorrow to finish the suitcase, finish this sign, and do a few more Made by Marley sort of Christmas crafts and gifts. Okay, so the sign has been drying overnight. It's not quite hard, but it's hard enough that I'm happy to paint it. Right, so I've got my Santa here. Now, when you're applying Made by Marley,
Made by Decoupage.
Made by Decoupage Marley, you need to think of two things. So where it's joining onto something, you can cut. Where you want to blend it out, you rip. So I'm going to just cut it at the top here so we can fit them in the top like that, and cut this part off the bottom. It's going to lose a tiny. If you turn our decoupage paper over as well, and when you've folded it into something, it's much easier to see where you cut. If you follow me for a long time, you'll know that. But if you're new, well, now so got my Santa. Now I want to get rid of this white line, so I'm just going to rip it. Ripping will make for easier blending, and it'll save you a lot of heartache. Don't worry about losing your shoulders. We can pop those all back in with a simple part of blending. It's not even so tricksy to do that. Really want to take a little bit more off than that. Just hang on a minute while I just get rid of this cream part. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit there, but I don't want to. Right, okay, so let's just see how he goes. Did you just see me, Martin, throw my rubbish on the floor?
I did.
Oh, you're throwing it on the floor now as well. Right, okay. We said we wouldn't do the same with the studio as we did with the old one.
I'll tidy it.
It's carpeted in here. You'll have to get your Hoover out, your vacuum, Martin.
I was just getting rid of the bits.
Right,
so that it was all clean and tidy for you.
So there he is. He fits in there just nicely, and I'm going to centre him in the middle. So I've got a new Mod Podge today. Now, same drill. You must get sick of me saying the same thing over and over and over. But sometimes in the decoupage group I've got wrinkles, and I always think, right, okay, I need to go back to the basics. So apply your glue, but you have to make sure that your glue application is on all surfaces. Why? Because if you don't, it'll leave air pockets, which will leave bubbles. Then you need to make sure that your glue is all nice and smoothed out like that. I'm going to be even smoothing it down this way. All right.
I think that's something you do all the time. This is how you do it.
Yeah,
and that's why you don't get any bubbles.
No, I sometimes do.
Do what Leo does, and you won't have any problems.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I don't get bubbles, but I don't get the same amount as everybody else. I think sometimes, or the newbies, because I'm not. But there's so many people who can do it, like just get it right. It's just about practice, and it's not that I'm superhuman here. It's just decoupage paper. Right, okay, so
look at that there. it.
All I've done is that. Now it is wrinkle free.
Smooth as a proverbial baby's bum.
But what we'll do is we'll show them in about 5 minutes, because what happens when you have a piece of wet paper, when you wet a piece of paper from the back and it's sitting on something, it lifts. So obviously at some point this is going to lift because it's got a damp back. But what happens is by leaving it alone, it'll all settle back down. When the problem that some people do is it starts to get damp, they see a bubble, they start rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and then what happens is they rub those bubbles into the paper. Whereas I can see there's no bubbles now, it's applied really nicely, and I am literally just going to leave it alone now. Right, okay, so that part is done. And there's a wee explanation. I didn't open my Mod Podge very well, Martin, did I?
I know. I've got an eye twitch going on about that.
It's opened like everything in the house is opened. If I get to them first,
I'll deal with that in a minute.
I thought you might. Now I've made now it's messy as well. And I really don't like the mess, but I can't cope with the yeah, I'm just going to put the lid I'm just going to pretend that never happened. Away, that's a future Lil problem or a right now Marty problem.
It's just a Marty problem, yeah.
Right, okay, so mix mat, just stick it here for a minute. Now, okay, I like to, when blending, just get a rough coat over everything first. So let's pick one of the colours in here, or thereabouts. Now, I'm using tins today because finally my paint order, Martin did it last night, so I'm down.
It's on the way.
So I'm just got lots of little kind of parts.
I was so enthusiastic about ordering those paint that I managed to order it twice. And the lovely Sue who does sends us our paint sent me a little message. Right? Did you mean to order that twice?
So what I've got here is I've got some Amsterdam green, I've got some Old Ochre and a little bit of Frida blue. Let's see where this hits, because we want something kind of in the ballpark. And I think that's good enough for the ballpark. So let's just do this side first, because I'm going to bring it right over my molds as well. So you need a swirly twirly brush for this so that you can get in and around them all, because remember, you've got to go from all angles. Now I'll get the sides off camera in a minute, but I just want you to see me doing, I'll move this the molds with my swirly twirly brush. And this is just a blending brush. I don't buy expensive brushes. I do buy the sort of middle of the road brushes, and they're just perfect. Now I have got some new fancy schmancy ones in a box. In fact, I've got 2 boxes of them,
and they haven't seen the light of day yet.
I bought them last week, but I don't like opening and using new things, so they're probably just going to sit there.
Nice new brushes, and they'll sit there for ages.
Yeah, probably. So that was kind of there and thereabouts the sort of colour we want to start with. I mean, we can see that this is more blue than green, but when it comes to the blendy part, we can get that. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring it down, even though my edges are wet, because it'll all go back down again. You don't need to fret, and you don't need to fret that I've gone too far into that. If you do that at home, it's not a concern. Now, let's just, this is interesting. Mix mat on my hand. I'm going to have to mix up some more to do this. But you can see me swirling and twirling. It's just our kind of canvas coat, so you don't need to worry about it being a little bit see-through at this juncture. I think I might have to mix up some more. So I'm going to go off, mix up some more of this, dry this off, and then we'll come back and we will we'll start blending them in, making them into a sign. That's all I've got to say about that, really. Back in a minute. Okay, so my base coat is dry. My paper is on. You can see there's no wrinkles around the side, and you can see my paper is completely smooth and flat. There's no wrinkles on here at all. He is smooth. Look at him. He doesn't need surgery. No cosmetic surgery needed. He's perfect. Right, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start blending. So I'm going to put my paint on this side. Right, so the first thing I want to do is be looking at these greens here. So let me just run through my palette. It looks incredibly messy, but we'll just cope with that. So I've got some olive, which is a sort of olivey green, Old Ochre, which is a sort of off-white. I've got Hornflower, which is a brown. I've got Amsterdam green, which is a dark racing green. I've got Frida blue, which is a nice bright blue. I've got Athenian black, which is black. And I've got Emperor silk, which is red. Right, that's what I'm going to do. So blending, I like to do it with a small brush. I don't like to do it with a big paintbrush when I'm doing it. So I just need to kind of look at the colours and let's kind of see. So I can see that I need to be slightly darker. So I'm going to add a little bit of Wildflower Brown. And let's kind of start. I want to kind of get it a little bit darker, but I don't want to add too much black to it. Let's see what this is like. Right, we can come back in a minute. Let's just Martin, you're popular. I'm going to add a tiny touch of blue. They don't want to go away. Sorry, Mars.
I'm trying to hang up on it, but there we go.
Whoever it is can ring back.
So,
now,
my apologies, everyone.
This here gets more dark. You can see it. So you need to add a little bit more black and a little bit more brown to your olive paint at this point. No, not right. And it's just a matter of fiddling around with it until it kind of makes sense. If you're struggling to kind of get your blend right, you can actually go further in. So say, like I wanted to, if I wasn't sure here, I could go further in round there and that would blend that edge away if I wanted to. If that was my one. Right, okay, so let's just bring this part out here. And then it's darker here, so let's add more of this dark colour here. And then you can just kind of like, the further away you get from this edge, you can make it up as you go along, but you need to get this part here done first. And that's when you can start sort of blending out your colours, because I want to end up with this blue. So that's where I want to be going. So it's a wee lighter patch up there. Because as I said, you can do what you want now. Now the red down here, have you noticed I'm not cleaning my brush? I'm just keeping my brush, the same brush. And you need, let me just see. Now this is the wrong colour, but I just need to get his shoulders in first. That's a bit more like it. Oh, I do have a wee wrinkle down there. Excuse me, sorry. I can deal with that. Now, just want to kind of shape his shoulders a little bit. You get the drill. I mean, you've seen me blend furniture over and over again. There is nothing more difficult that you're actually learning here. If I put a little bit of black over that, where now your rip edge may left, but see if you put a sort of darker colour over that and just blend that out into your red, that should, when it goes down, should fix that. Now, I know that your shoulders now are a bit iffy, but we need to start doing our green again. At this point in time, I will have to give my brush a little bit of a clean because I don't want the red tones going into the green. With a wet brush, back in with the green. If you're finding your paint isn't doing what it should do, then don't worry about it. Just add some water. I'm trying to get it lighter out here because but I'm going to have to dip into the dark again to do this patch here. And then I want to bring this green down here. His shoulders are. You notice how I pad it. I sometimes swirl or I pad, but I don't go like I was painting a piece of furniture. I don't do that. It's all a sort of stippling or a swirly motion. Bring the green down to here because at this point in stage, I'm going to go in with my Frida Blue and my Amsterdam Green, and I'm going to start darkening this up. I want a little bit more blue into that. Yeah, this sort of colour. This is the colour here. In fact, I'm just going to mix it en masse because I'm going to need lots that I want to get to. So there's the colour I want to get to here. And this is the colour that I've currently got. So I'm going to go back to my olive again, and I'm going to start mixing my olive into here. So I'm now working from this side back to this side. Now I'm padding it because I want to blend it in. I want to keep those dark edges. Pad, 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 pad. But I think you're getting it. I'm just going to bridge this part here, and then I'm going to wait. I'll do it all. But I think you've got this sort of what I'm trying to say. I'm going to put a wee bit of chocolate brown in here just to mix it up because I feel like it. There we go. Starting to come nice. Let's just bring this up in, bring this. I always think the application part swirl and then do this, but I can see that there's a darker. I need to bring some of this darker stuff and move that along in the paint. Blending isn't difficult. It's just about the starting point of where you start, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to finesse this up here. Oh, just drop dark on it. But it isn't, it's not complicated. It's just about where your starting point and what you're blending it to. So I'm going back in with this blue because this is where I want it to go. This is the colour I want it to be going up into my mould. So, but maybe I'll add some brown around the moulds as well. So, you know, you can make the rest up. You can if you want. Now you've got this part here left to do. Swap back to your bigger brush if you've got a large part that you think, right, I can do this by myself. Just going to keep that wee bit of blue, just lightly touch it so that now I'm going to just work this together here. And I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to fix this part here. So I'm going to need to clean my brush and start again, I think, to get in here. It's kind of shiny, so it's kind of difficult to kind of, I think I've got it, and then I'll look in a different light and I haven't. The brush is a little bit wet. What are you saying, Martin? Is it
well, I see the same thing, yeah, but yeah. I from a different perspective, it looks good to me.
Yeah, it looks fine one angle, but then it's shiny on another, so I'm just making sure that that out there. I think I'm quite happy with this part in here. I'm not going to do too much about it, and then I'm going to move it out with this bigger brush. There. How is that looking, Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when it dries, it won't be shiny, and then we've got a better idea. So I am going to move this all the way out to this edge. And this blue, the Frida blue and the Amsterdam green, which I use an awful lot. I use these two colours together a lot in my furniture videos. I use them. I like this colour with the blue and the green. It just really makes me smile. So this colour is going to go in here, but I'm going to add some brown as well. So you can see I'm just not too worried about the moulds themselves. I'm more worried about the background. This was a terrible one. It was all perfect, and I was carrying it into the house to dry it, and I bumped this against Martin's van and broke it. Right, okay, and I'm just going to add some of the chocolate brown around the edges because that'll make it look sort of almost grungy. So I'm going to get on, going to do all this. We'll come back once I've done all the blending, and then we'll get to doing the baubles and maybe some words here and here. Maybe not, I don't know, I've made up my mind. Okay, when you last left off, I was going to wait to do the blending. What I've also done is I got this pattern stencil and some gold gilding adhesive. I put a little bit on a sponge, put my stencil down, stenciled through it to leave. I think you can probably see, can you see it on camera, Matty?
Yeah,
where it's going to go.
Yep.
So it's just to kind of hurry the process up because it takes quite a while for the size to kind of cure. How do we do gold leaf? Well, it's actually really very simple if your fingers aren't already quite sticky. You just put it down, pat, pat, pat. And you can use the paper if you want, but sometimes I think the paper sticks to the glue and then that leaves you with a bit of a sticky situation. So I'm going to put this right up to this edge just to bougie up the background, because I'm going to put some words here and here, and I'm going to make the baubles. I'm going to make the baubles quite muted because it goes with the overall piece. I'm not going to put loads of bright colours on them, but I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute once I've done this gold. Oh, this sheet here looks like an old sheet, doesn't it? I use all my gold leaf up all of the time, so whenever I've opened one and it's got a little bit, I just add it to my little pieces and parts so that I'm not wasting it. Saves opening new ones as well. So if you're going to use the paper, I would kind of remove it quite quickly. What else have I got in here? Take a few more sheets. So you get the process. I'm sure if you're new to my channel, you've maybe not done gold leaf before, but if you're a regular at my channel, you'll have seen me use gold leaf quite a lot on my furniture. And anything that I'm showing you today, just change up your theme, so not Christmassy, but most of the stuff I'm showing you on suitcases and signs and things can all translate to furniture. So it's all a learning curve, even if you maybe are not maybe the most festive person. Right, I'm just want to make sure that I've got it all in all of the, is that, just make sure that the glue's right up into these edges. If you've got loose stuff, just use it. Right, I think we're good. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat it down with this brush first. Just so it's down, sticking before I remove the loose stuff. Sticking down. Now, once you've got it this far, it's always a bit of a messy process, the gold leaf. Didn't put glue up on that edge, so there shouldn't be anything. Then this is my gold leaf brush. Isn't it beautiful? It's a thing of beauty. What I need to do is just rub it, and it will soon just reveal the pattern. You have to work at it a bit. There we go. I would have thought there should have been more revealed here, but let me just try this brush. But obviously not.
I quite like it.
Yeah, I quite like it as well, but I would have thought there was more gaps here.
See what the other side does.
Yeah. Pat, I'm patting it down. See if this side comes off more in a pattern. Normally it comes off more in a sort of pattern. I mean, I don't dislike it. I don't think there's any hard and fast rules on this. Yeah. I think you just have to kind of give it a bit of a rub.
Yeah, the harder you are with it, the more it's coming away.
Yeah, it's just that if you rub it too hard, can you see what's happening?
Yeah.
It then loses its sparkle, but we don't want it too glaringly obvious, bright either. So, I mean, maybe it's because I applied the gold leaf this morning and been away doing things. I've been actually looking after Poppy today. So we've just finished Disney and she's just gone to bed.
We watched Tangled tonight.
We did not watch Tangled.
Well, one of us did.
Nana watched Tangled and almost fell asleep.
I fell asleep. But, you know, little nap.
She was so cute when she went to bed, wasn't she, Matty?
Was.
Oh. She's just a joy. She was asking me tonight, she said, Nana, when you're 18, you can wear high heel shoes without socks. I went, can you? And she went, yes. She went, I can't wait till I'm 18. And I went, oh. And then she said, Nana, why do you not wear high heel shoes and without socks? I went, because it's not very practical for me to get about. And she said, why not? And I went, well, I've got a bad knee. She went, yeah, because you're old, Nana. I went, yeah, that's it. Right, I'm quite happy with this. I have no idea why it just doesn't seem to want to come, and I'm not going to force it because I don't want to dull my gold leaf too much. Right, okay, I'm going to go and do the cleanup on this. And once I've done the cleanup, we will come back. Oh, there's a bit of gold leaf stuck to his nose. Hang on. I don't really want that there. There we go. Once we've done that, I'll come back. I'll do my baubles, and then we'll get on to the words. Then we'll get on to the ceiling, and that will be this done. Okay, so the gold leaf's been cleaned off, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate the baubles. Now you can use any remnants of Made by Marley paper probably to do this because it's always patterned, but this was what I had and already started using. It was either this or some of the Rosehip and Hedgerow, which is sitting over there, but I think it might get lost in the colour, so I'm going with this. Now I want to make patterns like vintage ornaments, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half first. And then quickly, do you know, I feel like I'm fussy cutting for Scotland these days. If it was an Olympic sport, I mean...
We need to plan better in terms of what we're going to want fussy cutting
and
pay the children to do it.
I've even got, no fear, I've even got a fussy cutting blister, look. Right, so, but I want to take this shape out of here as well because that'll give me more of a pattern. So it's just a matter of cutting things up until you get something you quite like. So let's start with this one here. I want it to go round in a sort of circle. So let's just take this edge and this edge. Now this can be as complicated or easy as you want. Obviously, I'm complicating it because
obviously you're going to make it really complicated.
Because I can't help it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the centre out of here. Like this. I'm going to put this up the top and glue that there. And then my little part here, I'm going to glue onto here with my gap here. And then I need some straight lines. So I'm just going to literally go, maybe not this one. Try this pink one here because I want it to show up. I don't want to cut up too many because, believe it or not, I'm actually really tight with my paper. I'm Matty. I keep all pieces and parts. You never know. You should see my drawers. It's full of it. Now I'm going to come back with gold liner on here, so I'm not too worried about the transitions. Again, turn it around when you're cutting it, and can't tell how that went on. There, try that again. There, and a stripe, and then maybe this other. So I'm just going to find patterns to decorate my baubles. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to be doing anything completely very tricky. Right, and that's going to go. See, you want it kind of looking like it's going around. I might glue that onto there and move this down a part because in between all of this, I'm going to put some gold paint lines and gold up here. So I'm going to glue this together and I'm just going to do the same with all the rest. So I better get on with it because it's actually really quite late at night in Scotland and we're running late with this video.
As usual.
As per. So, and I don't feel when you do something like this that you should rush it. Because I think, well, I think he's all deserved the time and how to do it. So I kind of do that thing where I know Martin's got to start editing it, but I'm a bit like, right, well, I'm going to do this because I want to do it right.
It'll take as long as it takes.
Yeah. These parts here are easy. I don't bother putting the glue on first with the little fussy cut parts. I generally just glue them as I go like this. Feel it needs a bit on top of it, just stick a bit on top of it like that. Straight line. Put that there. Kind of cut that a little bit wonky there. Pull it. Make sure that it's glued down at the other edge. This last little part. And I put down here. Right, you get the drill. Now at the moment this isn't looking like it's glaringly in your face, and I don't want it to be. I want it to be quite subtle because the Santa is quite subtle. But by the time I get the gold on it, it won't be subtle. Okay, so I'll get on and do the rest. Okay, so I've got liner paint here and a little bit of gold, a liner brush and a little bit of gold paint in on my palette, in my lid. Actually, let's not call it a palette. And all I'm doing with these is I'm just making them pretty. When my brush isn't too wet, I'm just running over the top of there on to the next one. They're all kind of different. They've all got different patterns on them. I just tried to make them all different, and I just cut up my little bit of fluff in there, I think. My little pieces of paper. Just try and tidy that edge up if I can. And this big boy here. I'm just taking it round the decoupage paper. I mean, it's taken a wee bit of time to do this, but I was just saying to Martin, if things are worth doing, I think they're worth doing. And so, but you could make it way less complicated than this if you felt like it. There's some parts where my gold leaf is touched up the top, and I thought, am I bothered about that? And I thought, actually, do you know what? I'm not. I want to try and make this come all the way around from this edge, because so it's going to need a little bit of neatening up here and a little bit of neatening up here. I'm running up gold on my little lid. But here, 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 and here. Now, I am going to go and set up my stamps because I'm going to stamp Merry and Bright on it. I'm going to pick this up just so I can get this paint that's in here. And once I've done Merry and Bright, I will be waxing it. I'll be dark waxing it because I want to try and bring out these bubbles. You know, put a shadow around them so they stand out. See if I can recreate that shape again. I bet you can. I shall try. Can I just dip in the gold, Martin? I always think with my gold paint, if I water it down as well, it just runs nicer. Let's see if I can follow this shape again. And along here, whoop, this is the one that got dunted off the van. I thought I got away with it as well. It was like Scooby-Doo. Thought, oh, got away with it. Wasn't for the pesky kids. Then got into the house and went, oh, I didn't get away with it. Right. So you get the general thrust of what I'm doing here. It's not your life's work. It's just bougieing them up a bit. But I just think it kind of makes them pop. That's how they all look as on a mass. And as I said, I could sand this and get rid of it, but I'm not going to. I think that's fine just the way it is. Now I've got conflicting golds here. This gold and this gold are different. I'm not too worried about it because when I wax it, the clear wax will dull this slightly, but when I dark wax around it, I'll just kind of dust over it with dark as well. And the other gold too, which should hopefully pull it all together. Okay, right, I'll set up for the stamp work and we'll get on with this one. Okay, I'm just stamping Merry and Bright on it. I'm just using the lowercase. It's the same font as I used before. And I'm just doing it all at a jaunty angle. Why? Because sometimes life is too much to measure. I just want to come back here and just do that. But you shouldn't. And I think I want that way. And why? I've got a little bit of ink there, which I can just paint in. I will paint. If I'm going to go at the bother painting those, blend those in, I'll blend that gold in as well. See, even longer. And just stamping off the end down here. I think this is called the type, this comes from the typography stamp, I think. But I'm not sure. It's an IOD stamp. But all my stamps generally are IOD that I use. If they're anything else, I'll tell you, but generally they're all IOD. Mary and BR, and I need my I. I. Now my I is wonky. It's got a funny bend in it. I don't know why. IG. G. H. H. And T's going to go there. And now I'm going to just blast it with my heat gun, and then we'll get to waxing. Why am I blasting it with my heat gun? I'm curing the StazOn and the gold, and that way we can wax it with some clear, and we can put some dark wax in it. But before I do any of this, I'm just going to make myself a little colour of paint up here, just a tiny amount, just to kind of cover that there, because I don't like it, and that won't work for me.
That won't work. That just won't do.
That won't work, Maren. It's just that simple. Yeah. It will not. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, so I've got some Annie Sloan's wax here. It's clear wax. Why am I clear waxing it first? Well, just to seal it in, but also so I can add dark wax to it as well. Always clear wax before you dark wax. Clear wax is good. Dark wax, when you put it on, will saturate it all dark, and there's not much you can do with it once it's gone dark. Once you've gone to the dark side.
No, do you want to go to the dark side?
You do not. But I'm just going to go in and around my moulds, making sure that they're all coated with the wax. Any loose parts of decoupage that I see, I'll just fix those with a little bit of Mod Podge. This should bring out the nice colours that we've used as well. Make sure I wax my decoupage paper. And I'm being very generous with my wax. I'm not messing around here. So remember, if you're using wax in a place like I am, in a studio that's kind of exposed to the elements, just make sure that it doesn't drop below 0 and that the ambient temperature stays the same while it's curing. So word to the wise there on wax. Same with sealer as well, but wax in particular. It'll just go white and thick and nasty, and you won't want that. It's really important that I rub it around the edges of the... Oh, I saw a little loose part there. This is a good way as well as decipher where any loose parts of the decoupage paper are. I can see another bit there. Right. Make sure it's in this seam. And I think I've got everywhere. I mean, I don't think I've missed. Sorry, Matt, I'm jumping around, just making sure that I've got everywhere. Right, okay, so we've done that. Now we need dark wax, okay? Dark wax. Now, what kind of brush am I going to use for this? What, quite a messy one. Yeah, this will do. Right, so this is Annie Sloan's dark wax. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grunge up in here, which will instantly make this look like it's sitting back. I mean, it's what a difference wax makes to things. And if you've not tried dark wax and you're just getting into doing... Well, I mean, I can only really talk with authority on furniture art, to be honest with you, but because crafting is not my... Well, I don't do it all of the time, but still, if you're thinking of getting into dark waxing, it really is very, what's the word? Good fun, because it kind of instantly, I can see how much that's set back. Can you, Martin?
Yep.
Yeah, if you think you've put too much on, you've got the clear wax underneath, just rub it away. Right, okay, what we're going to do with these molds, literally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub around them like this, so that there's a sort of shadow around them. My shadow's too thick, I'm just going to come back in with my clear brush and do that. And I'm going to just do this. And I'm not being forgiving with it. I mean, I'm slapping it on here. It's going to age it up as well. Now, a bit round here. And this will just make it look older. It will make these sit back in your work. There we go. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to go on and do that. I'm going to fix any little parts of my decoupage paper, and we'll be moving on to the next one, because this will be getting ready to get staged up with everything else at the end. Okay, so I'm going to do a really simple reverse decoupage. For those that are in my channel member group, we've been doing really sort of more kind of complicated stuff, but I'm just going to show you something really simple. You need something glass, and you need something to put on it, and I've already drawn around this with a yellow pen, because I'm going to cut this out in a minute. So I'm going to set this to the side. What you do first is you clean it with white spirits, and I've already done that. We're going to flip it over. And we want to put a little bit of we want to set the scene. So we want to have some stamps, and we're going to be stamping. I don't think this is going to fly, actually. I think maybe we just keep it quite simple. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is, because I want to almost sort of, I'm queen of grunging today. I just want to grunge it up a little bit. So I've got some yellow, no, it's not yellow, it's brown, and I'm going to put a little bit of old ochre here, and a little bit of Athenian black, just a tiny little touch. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run round it here to kind of rust up the edges, or darken up and grunge up the edges, as dark and as light as you want. Just all the way around. I'm going to start dipping into the cream and maybe putting a bit of cream on it here and there, and maybe some black round the edges. Now you should be letting this all dry in between all of this, and I'm not. I'm just kind of going for it, but you'll let all your colours dry. So you're dark, and then I'm going to dip into the cream again, then into the brown, and that's just all the way around this bottom part. You want it kind of going a little bit onto the design, just like that. And this is really a really simplified version. I was going to put stamps in it, but I think with a fluted edge, I think it's just going to be, one of those ones where there isn't really much point, I don't think. A bit of the black, but not everywhere, just here and there. Black can make things look bad, dark quite quick. Right, and a little bit more of the cream maybe here. And now we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to pick it up, and we're going to do exactly the same thing to this outside edge. With our colours, so that's me dipping in the black and brown and the cream and the black again. You get the gist. I'm going to get on and do that, and I'm going to dry it, and I'll be back in 1 minute, and then we'll put the next layer on. Okay, so this is all dry now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do big and small and big and small snowflakes, like snow's falling on it, all the way around. It's not easy to film, Matty, is it?
I'm getting it.
Big and small.
Well, I'm getting them as they're coming round.
Why did I put the distress on it? Because the image itself has got distress in it, because I put it on that Christmas pudding, so I know it's there, so I thought it would just add to the look. Just with reverse decoupage, you just have to kind of get your layers just That's all I'm going to do now, and then I'm going to dry that off, and I'll be back in 1 minute. So I've done my snow with my Poscas. It's a white Posca pen, and then what I did was, just to heat seal it, because we're going to be painting over the top of this, I just hit it up with my heat tool all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting some gold on here, and it's just my gold paint, and I'm just painting it around the edge like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just have to be, because we want to do this top, but we'll get the top in a minute once we've done this sort of outer edge. And that's another layer. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stick our decoupage paper on, and then once our decoupage paper is on, we are going to paint the edges. So that is the kind of drill, but I'll come back in a minute once I've got this done around the edges and the top edge obviously as well, so that it's all nice and gold. Okay, so I put my gold layer on the bottom, but I decided just to put a bit of gold here as well. I don't know how much of it will show through the paint, but I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Now, I've cut out my decoupage paper. It was all too difficult to cut that fluted edge, so do you know what? I didn't bother. I just made a circle, and we'll just, if there's a little bit of a lip, we'll just glue it up. Oh, now, I've got an awful lot of glue on here. Let's smooth this right over at the other edge. Right over. Because you don't want too much in it, because what will happen is it'll dry with the glue still underneath it, so you need to kind of spread it out like this, so it's not too lumpy in areas. Right, okay, so doesn't matter what way she goes on really. Just checking my. Now, it's a bit slippy slidey. All I'm going to do first is try and get it down nice and smooth and flat at the bottom. What I really should have done before I started was got a little brayer. Just 1 minute.
Sorry.
It's okay, Matty. You're fine. What I'm doing here is I'm pushing all the glue to the outer edges, right out to the edge from the centre out, because, oh, you don't want to rip in it. That edge there, I mean, that little rip there won't be seen because it's going to be painted, but if you don't do that, then you're going to have glue. Now, I'm just going to make sure that this edge here is nice and stuck down into this fluted edge. I mean, it's not almost an easy thing to decoupage, to be honest with you, but just make sure you go round it all.
It's like a pie.
It is like a pie, Martin. Just like a pie. I'll bake you a pie in it. I don't think I'll be able to bake in it, but I do think I'll be able to use it and put things in it for Christmas, like your mince pies, Martin.
Yes.
You can make it your mince pie bowl. Right, now that is on. Just want to check it from this side. Now at the moment the glue is still wet, so you can see that, but that's okay, don't worry about it, that'll dry. What I'm going to do now is, with my mix mat over here, I'm going to put some Old Ochre and Giverny together and make a little light blue. Pick up my plate, mix these together. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the sides right over the top of everything we've done. Now you don't want it to run over the top edge because we've got our gold. I can see there's a little bit there. It's probably because I'm doing everything wet. I'm kind of rushing, but you'll take your time and make this absolutely beautiful. I think putting some paint in there as well might moisten it up. Oh, I nearly dropped it there, Matty. It's like a juggler.
Just like a juggler, maybe.
Just like a juggler, yeah. Goodness. My dad used to say I couldn't catch a ball till I was 18. I think he meant it in a nice way. Bless him. But who knows? Right, okay, so that edge is done, and then really this should be dry before you paint over the top of it, but
But you're going to paint it anyway.
well, we don't have time tonight to mess about. I'm sure they'll forgive me if it's a little bit like not quite perfect, because if I had more time, I'm sure it would be. See that confidence I had in myself?
Yeah.
I'm running out of paint, but I'm not mixing all the colour, so. Now what you're going to do is you're going to let this thoroughly dry so that your Mod Podge is all dried up on the inside. I wouldn't put artificial heat on it at this stage. I would just leave it to do its thing. There now. Now you can actually now decoupage this side on the outside if you wanted to, if that was your want. But I won't be doing that tonight. But or you could stamp it. I'm just pushing down all those little fluted edges, making sure that they are sitting down and not sitting up, because you don't want that showing through the glass on the other side. Right, okay, I'm going to go and push all my edges in and we'll dry this off and we'll be back. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's got some parts where the glue has to dry here, here and here, but that's how it looks. Reverse decoupage, it's really quite easy. This is this edge. I put some gold on the outside and just kind of rub some distress around the fluted edge, and there we have it. So that's another one of these things you can make in an afternoon. Depends. You make it as difficult and as complicated as you want. That's the thing about the reverse decoupage. You can just add layers and layers and layers. But that's how it looks. A simple reverse decoupage Christmas dish. And I'm going to put Martin's pies in here.
Lovely.
Sorry, I didn't know I was to go. Right, okay. So I've got this sheet here, and I actually had saved this out of my other one when I was doing the other one, but I for some reason it's not here. So, and if I tell you, and this is no words of a lie, Martin was laughing. I had this in my stash from the Christmas videos last year. I said to Martin, "Oh, I've got them." Yeah, so I wanted this. Now I want to make some hair clips, and this is something that anybody can make if you've got some iodine molds. Now I've got various sizes in here for making hair clips. I've got these sort of brassy ones, but I've also got metal ones. I don't know. I bought them to make hair clips for Poppy, and I've got smaller ones, but I never really got the time to do it. So tomorrow she will have hair clips. Right, so I'm thinking I've got the IOD. This came from the Fleur de Lis stamp, and I'm thinking that will be nice on there. That sort of size I think is for that. The bigger ones, I thought this, because I'm going to do something really fancy with that. But equally you can make brooches out of these, and I thought maybe this great big long one could go on here. Now, first things first, let's get our decoupage paper on. And I thought this design here is really cute for a little girl, and it's a little Christmas bauble. So let's see what I can do here. I'm going to cut it out in first before I wreck it, because I might have to cut it a little bit. Whoops. Sorry, it's been a long day. That's not very straight, is it? Actually, that's me just making excuses, Martin, isn't it? I can never cut things straight. Right. Just take that out of here. And let's just sorry, 3 hours later. I can see a little dark line there that I don't like. Right, okay. So I'm planning to put this little one on here like this. But I need a background, so I think what I'm going to do is make myself a little bit of a light green. So I've got some olive here on my palette, and I've got some old ochre, which I'm just going to plop right beside it. And again, I'm going to have to reach over and get a brush. I don't know why I keep doing this. Who knows? It just makes life a bit exciting. Right, so I'm going in with the old ochre, and I'm going to make myself a green. No, I'm not. I'm going into the olive with the old ochre, and I'm going to make myself a light green. There we go. Right, so, or I could have done it red, I suppose. I could have done whatever I wanted, but this is what I'm doing. This was a lovely white tablecloth we started with yesterday, Mary.
It was. Straight out of the packet.
Yeah. Well, when we say straight out of the packet, we weren't being wasteful. It was just that it was left over from Jamie's wedding about 6 or 7 years ago, and mice chewed all the edges of it. so we thought, oh, well, we'll just use that. I found it in the move.
There's a couple of them actually.
I found a few things in the move, to be honest with you, and still we haven't dealt with quite a lot of the move fallout, but we're hoping to get to that. I'm going to just cream that up a little bit more and then put more cream in the centre. Now, I'm going to let that dry. Is that sort of, yeah, I think this is going to be quite cute. So that's that. Just make sure you've got all your edges done for this. Oh, I forgot to say, on the reverse decoupage platter, I would give it 2 coats on the paper side of dishwasher Mod Podge. That's how you seal it. I forgot to impart that piece of information, which is quite important. Right, okay, that's that colour for that, right? And we're going to put that one on here. The little heart, what I thought we could do is get this same pattern again. And you can use any Made by Marley decoupage paper. I mean, it doesn't have to be Christmas related. I'm just cutting this out now as nice as I can. And again, these are a set, so I'm going to do them all coordinating. So when I put them together, they look like a wee set. That's my thoughts on that. But you know, you can do whatever colours you like. I'm trying to be classy. Martin, don't laugh. I can be classy. I think maybe if the turn the clips over, you might see this part here. So I don't want her being embarrassed at nursery school when she shows somebody her clips and they say, oh, Nana didn't do a good job there. Because I'm known there better. Right, okay, it's going to need 2 coats there. That was a silly move, Lil. Right, find somewhere to stick that there, on there. I just set that down. Now, my last one, which is this long one, let's think about what we can do. Again, we're going to need this olive colour. Now, the next thing we're going to do, once we decoupage them, is I'm going to UV resin these so that they're nice and clear and shiny on top. And then I'm going to use an epoxy to glue them onto the clips. The clips, I think, are going to need painted as well, but I think I'm going to do those cream. Right, let's just flip this over. This is not how you would normally do things. It's just so I can get to the second coat. So this is the first coat, okay? I'm going to go away, get this dried up. Oh, you want to know what's going in this one? Yeah, that might be useful. What could I do in this one? I think I would like to do something like this little border. First of all, could go down the middle, couldn't it? Into that shape. Could it, Mary?
I don't know.
Well, Martin, keep up.
Might you?
Yeah, I think I'll put that down the middle. So, but I'll need to trim it once it's dry. That can go down the middle, and then I want maybe. I think I'll take some of the. I've got the green paint on my fingers, so it's kind of going on at my leaves. Let's just cut some of these leaves out and see if I can put these on. I'm just going to make a wee sort of decoupage montage with this last one. It's a shame I can't do something with this. I wonder if there's a piece on the... Hang on a minute. I've now got another piece of... I know. Oh, wait. Hold the bus. I've got the very perfect thing on the same house. Again, that's a shape from last year. And that one there is called... Oh, Martin. What's that set called?
I'll find out. I'll put it in the description.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been 2 very long days. Oh, we knew earlier. We knew yesterday, we've forgotten today. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that wee decoration. I'm going to put this on first because I've put my green fingers on it and put this over the top of it, and I'm going to do some wee snowflakes. So that's that. I'm going to dry these off, give it a second coat. We'll come back, we'll decoupage these onto here, we'll put the resin on, we'll stick them under the UV light, and then we will, while this is all happening, I'm going to paint these clips and I'm going to paint them cream. Okay? By the way, these metal hair clip things, I have no idea where I got them. I presume I probably bought them from Amazon or eBay or somewhere. And I just probably typed in hair clip blanks for making hair clips. So, you know, they're not difficult to find and they're inexpensive if you've got a little granddaughter or a grandson. I'm not judging here. Right, okay, so I want to start putting on my decoupage. So I'm going to have to lean over and get a brush again, Martin. I don't know why. Why have I just not brought the brushes over? I don't know. It's just because I like to live life on the edge. Oh, by the way, we've established that this is called, I've forgotten again, Martin.
Snowtime
Like Christmas is the paper. So yesterday we told you it was Old Time Christmas, but it's not Old Time Christmas. Old Time Christmas is the one with the birds page, just in case. That was funny. We actually had to go to our website.
Had to go to our own website to find out.
It has been a while since Christmas, and to be fair, we don't print it any other time of the year. Well, Christmas in July, I guess. So I'm just giving that a wee coat over the top. So that's going to be this one. It's going to have some little, I'll just do it now because it's got snow on the paper. I'm just going to do some little tiny, big and small dots to represent snow. I'm going to rub the Posca onto my fingers, and I am just going to do this. Why am I just not putting the Posca straight onto it? I'm not doing that because it'll go down into the grooves and it won't give me that sort of lacy look. Oops. It's all happening tonight, man, isn't it? I can see there's a little left edge on that decoupage. I'm just going to fix it before I go any further. I want these to look quite cute and delicate because Poppy's cute and delicate. Oh dear. Yeah. Today, Martin and I were laughing. The wonder of children. It doesn't matter what it is. Poppy goes, wow. We got into a lift and there was lights and Poppy was going, wow. And we were in TK Maxx. It was really funny because we went upstairs in the lift, and when we got to the top, they had all the Christmas stuff when you opened the lift doors, and I actually thought she was just, it was all too much.
She was going to explode.
Yeah, she was like, wow. And at one point she was like, Omo, because she was desperate to get toys, and we said she could pick a toy, but then she got waylaid with the dressing up costumes, but they weren't going to fit her because Poppy's, although she's 4, she's really, really, really tall for a 4-year-old, but she's really, really, really thin. She's just tall and thin, and she saw this Frozen dressing up costume, and I said it was going to come to her knees and it's supposed to come to her toes, and I said it's not going to work. So then Oma was getting carried away and going, what about this? And I was like, she's not getting that today. But anyway, she picked her toys, and then all she could do for the rest of the time we were up there was, when can we go? When can I open my toy? When can I? Then we came back to the house, and she was never ever scared about Halloween. But all my Halloween decorations up, and the last time she was here last week, she was terrified and wouldn't go into the living room. So I had to go quickly and remove all skulls. And she kept going, there's another one, Nana, take it away. So Daisy thought I was preparing to put my Christmas decorations up. I said, no, I was just getting rid of the Santas, all the skulls that Poppy didn't like. Right, okay, so that's that one. Nice and simple. Nothing wrong with that. Now, next one, we're going to do this. And I'm just trying to do these quickly now, and I'll be honest, because I think I'm going to have a pizza when I get into the house for my tea. I mean, it is 11 o'clock at night, but hey-ho, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. There, now, that's that. And this time round, because I want these to look like a set, I think, what will I do with this? I think I'll go around like this. Now you can make these really complicated or you can make these really easy. I guess it depends on you. This is the easy version because you've got the complicated everything else. Again. Oh no, it smeared my dots. Oh dear. All right, well, I'm just smearing all of them now. I'm just doing that thing that I told you not to do because I'm disgruntled. I'm disgruntled now, Martin.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's actually quite cute. It's not. Let's try that again and put little links in it and see if we can salvage the disaster. Oh, we've salvaged it, or as much as we can do. But when you do this, make sure it's dry before you start rubbing your finger around it. I want a sort of really white edge on this one. I want them to be a set, but all be different. They're not overtly Christmassy either, which means that Poppy can wear them whenever she likes. I bet you they're broken by Thursday. Yeah, she's not doing like
Thursday?
Well, tomorrow when I give her them, I say, here you go. I'm just trying to get my finger in here.
She'll lose them before she gets home.
Probably. She was, tonight, it's the same every time she comes. We say she can have a movie and treats, and so she picked the movie. And for once it wasn't Frozen, which I was relieved at, but it was Tangled. So anyway, Omo managed to get out of Tangled for some of it because he had some work to do. But while this was happening, she was playing dolls, but I had to do the voices. I felt like Coco the Clown. I was like, oh. Anyway, she jumped around and bounced off the sofa, did forward rolls and did everything else she did. And then it was time for bed. I don't know why I put that red bit behind it. It's not really making a difference, but it's in there now. I want to make sure that that's really glued down because it's a shame I lost some of that red. I'm wondering if I could do, because I can't just leave it alone. I could do, take this little part out here. Sorry, you're just watching my brain and doing it as we go here. Does that wee decoration actually show up on that? Or is it too pale? I thought that might look like a flower, but maybe it looks like a dog's dinner. I don't know. Can't tell. No, this isn't going to work. This is not going to work. How can I do this one? I think with this one, I'm going to have to maybe put red on this part here. So I'll stop the camera and I'll paint this edge in here red, and then they'll be ready to go into the UV light because I'm going to put resin on them in a minute. And then after that, they're going to be epoxied onto here, and then we'll make them a little backing card to stick on it, and these should be super cute. Okay, just let me fix this one. I'll just fix it off camera. Okay, so these are my little decorations. I managed to fix that one. Now, what I'm going to do is rattle in a box, which is good fun. I want one of these little spatula things. I've got UV resin here and a UV lamp, and you don't have to use this, but I'm just going to coat this decoupage with UV resin so it looks a wee bit more professional and a wee bit more shiny, really. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not putting a huge layer on it, just enough to put it under the lamp. There we go. She's not going to be wearing them in the swimming pool or anything, but I just feel it kind of gives it a little bit more of a professional sort of look. So that's that one. And I'm just going to coat this one as well. Oops, that's maybe a bit much. I've got this little spatula here. I might just run this over here like that because you don't need too much. There we go. And the one that went wrong, let's just check that's dry before I do it. I'm just going to put a little bit in and then spatula it over. I think that's the technique I'm going for.
Is that what it says it's called?
What does it say it's called?
A spatula. Is that what it says it's called?
No, probably not. It's a sticky thing.
It's a doofer.
It's a doofer, yes. My dad used to say it's a thing. Just making sure that there's no gaps. And I can see here I've missed a bit of resin on my little hearty thing. Right, okay, so let's see if we can fit 2 in at once. Pop these 2 in. And let's see what we're doing. Just maybe don't film that.
That's all right. It just looks like a blue light on it.
So that's just curing the resin. Okay.
How does this work?
How does it cure it?
How long does it last for and things like
Oh,
that?
not very long. That's 60 seconds, but it might need to have another 60 seconds.
I see.
It depends on the thickness of your resin. To be honest with you, it's not something I really know that much about, but I have it and I'm using it.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, you've never even touched this. It came out of the box. You don't know how to use it, but you're going for it, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even read the instructions.
I've got some UV resin. I'm going to do this. Do you know how this works?
No. You know what? I always think I'll learn by doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I've made so many mistakes. That's why I can pass it on to other people all the time.
Ask me how I know.
Well, yeah.
And then you will say with authority, 60 seconds should do it. 90 seconds should do it. You probably need to give this about double that time.
Right, let me see.
No.
Just a little bit more. Right, you don't need to watch me do this. I'll tell you how much it took. I'm just going to do another 60, I think. Right, and I'll be back in a minute when I've done
Literally a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so they've all had their little shimmy in the UV light. Now I'm going to glue them on here. What did we say they needed, Matty?
150 seconds.
150 seconds makes them good as gold. Right, okay, so I've got my clips laid out. Now, I'm going to be using a 2-part resin, epoxy resin to do this. Now, why am I not using the actual thingy? Because it keeps blocking. Now, what I need to do really quickly is spray this, flip this round, and stick this onto the back there. Now, I didn't give this a second coat because I realised my error. I'd really started painting it and I really wanted to just glue the clip right onto the back and then paint it. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute, but that's how it's going to look. And I painted the clips as well. So again, I want this to go about here. So let's just put the glue on. It has got a nozzle, but the nozzle just keeps blocking. Now this glue is the best glue we could probably recommend for things like this, isn't it, Martin? We call it Cammie's glue because the guy that told us about it, his name's Cammie. I'm just wondering whether I put enough glue on that one. I think I did. Right, that's that one. And the last one, which is the big one, and I want this one to be here. I think Poppy's going to really like these. Just try not to go mad and it run everywhere all down the hair clip, which would be just disastrous. Spray. Bit more. Oh, that much?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to flip this one over actually like I did the last one. Hold it down. Actually, I think that didn't. Do that again. I don't think I did it quick enough. You've got to be pretty quick with this glue. Right, let's try it again. Whoop. Gosh, I've got loads on the back of this now. Right. Just let that set. It sets quite quickly. Where's the lid for this, Martin?
It's
just in case I spill it everywhere. Right. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I quickly just need to paint the backs of these to tidy them up because that's important. And then what I need to do is I've got a piece of cardboard here that this was what was left over from that same design and I want it all to go work together. So I'm going to clip these onto here. But you could, like, if you're making them for your grandkids, your granddaughter, you could put her name on it with stamps or, you know, there's so many things you could do. I mean, I'm just using, you know, what I've got, and plus I have a surplus of that particular design because when I first designed it, I cut the reindeer's nose off it by mistake when it went to print. So I've got about
quite a few.
about 100.
And it was one of those things, where I was like, well, bin them. And I was like, no,
No, I'm not
no,
binning
I'll find a use for those.
I'm not binning that. I mean, sometimes I do make mistakes, and I think
I'll find a use for those. And this is the first sheet that she pulled out of her stash.
But it was
since
last year.
last year.
It was last year though, Matt, and there's not much I can do about that. Stop. Now I've got my hole punch here. Now I need to kind of watch because my hole punch only goes so far. I need to probably do 2 holes for the clip. I need to wait till these dry so that I can measure them out, but if that one goes there, I'm not going to even cut any more holes in this, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to tidy this one up. Yeah. Just makes it look a little bit more professional. What you could probably do as well, you could get your cream and your green and just run it down the edges. I know, Martin, I'm like you. I want to go and eat my pizza, but I keep finding things to do.
Yeah.
But
And the more you talk, the more subtitles I've got to do.
I know. I'll stop talking now too. Right, so there. That just finishes that off. I'm just going to quickly dry these and we'll clip these on the back. Okay, so that's my hair clips. I've put my little hole thingy them on. I think probably what I would have done is probably covered the back of this as well, but just for Poppy. But you can make them as professional as you want and nicer card. It was just to show them off. It was just to give you an idea. I can see there's a little bit somewhere in there where I missed the resin, but apart from that, I'm really quite chuffed with these, and now I know how to resin. I mean, I'm sure maybe those that do it all the time is going, that is all wrong, but to me it worked.
Yeah, anybody who's
So,
got one of those has been laughing the whole
I've
time.
gone, oh no, this is a monkey using tools here, but anyway, I got it done. Right, I'm going to stage everything up and we'll take photographs, nice photographs, and a little bit of video of each one, and then we'll put them all together and we'll get a nice shot of everything that I've done. Okay, so here's a wee picture of a wee video of the reverse decoupage figgy pudding glass dish.
Flan dish.
Flan dish. Is it a flan?
I don't
That's
know.
a bit 70s. Anywho, that's reverse decoupage is as complicated or as easy as you like to make it, but the results are always good and it's actually quite addictive. So it's something to get into if that's your jam. So I'll move on and I'll do another wee video of the next thing. Cardboard stars. Really simple to make. Just decoupage them, paint the inside, squeeze them, glue them together. That's the toilet roll one, and that's the redesigned by Prima tube one with all the leftover pieces of decoupage. But it's really simple, really effective, and I really quite enjoy them. Okay, this was the decoupage suitcase using the snowman from the Yuletide collection. Really simple to do, just a bit of blending, a little bit of stamping. I painted the whole suitcase with Annie Sloan's pearlescent paint, which gave it a lovely blue sort of frosted look. Added a little bit of holographic white glitter and a little bit of twine that I just used the same paint that I rusted up the molds with and just dipped it in it, and it already had rusty keys, so it just kind of went with the vibe. So that's Mr. Frosty's mercantile suitcase. This is the Merry and Bright Christmas sign. I used the Santa from Better Not Pout collection, and I gold leafed the background, blended the blues and the greens together, stamped Merry and Bright on it, and used the Babylots mold, which I just painted over and then added some of our boho tile decoupage paper to. Added plenty of gold, and plenty of wax and dark wax, and boom. Very simple. Okay, little hair clips. Really simple to do. You just need the backs, some IOD molds, a little bit of decoupage paper. I went and resined mine to make them extra glossy and shiny. Popped them on the bit of a back of a card. You can make these look really professional. These would be a really good thing to sell at booths at Christmas time or Christmas markets. So they were really simple to do. And I used Snow Time Like Christmas paper. Next we have, which I think are super cute. They were quite difficult to show you how I made it, like to kind of display them. But the little lampshades for the fairy lights. I think I've hung them the wrong way around because I can see some of a lot of the backs from, but you get the general gist. And I just pop my lights through the top, but I think these are really cute. I'm going to give them to Daisy for her bedroom. She'll enjoy them. Okay, so that was 6 things with Made by Marley decoupage paper. All 6 things were relatively easy. There was nothing difficult about them. Just think about the paper, do a bit of blending, add a bit of stamping, some molds. Just have fun with it. I think Martin's favourite is the figgy pudding.
I've got several favourites. I think the toilet roll and the
redesigned by
Prima Tubes. I think that's inspired. I like the suitcase. I do like the figgy pudding dish though, and the Santa sign is awesome. I love that as well.
Just shows you what you can do. So these are all pretty much things you could do in an afternoon. Some are way quicker than an afternoon, an hour, some couple hours, but it's all things that you could be doing before Christmas. And you know what? If you don't have Made by Marley paper, you can use your own paper and just be creative, and that's what it's all about. So Martin and I will see you next week. It'll be back to furniture next week. Will it, Martin? Yes, it will.
Yes, it
I'm
will.
Confused. Quite tired. Still haven't had my pizza. Martin, do you have anything to add?
Not today, no.
Okay. Right. Okay, so we will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.